What happens when you condense the thousand planets of Starfield, the poor writing, the poor storytelling, and the absolute ass of a storyline? Well, you get Star Wars Outlaws, the true spiritual successor to the disaster of Starfield.
Star Wars Outlaws. Okay, when this game first got revealed, it didn't blow me away, and I think
This game, when it got revealed, blew away no one with more than 2 brain cells.
the main reason for that is I'm just simply not a Star Wars fan. I'm a casual enjoyer. I grew up with the prequel movies, I played Battlefront 2 on PS2 with my friends, and I enjoyed the Star Wars Jedi games when they actually worked. All this to say, I didn't play Outlaws from a fan's perspective. I just wanted to play a
Okay, that's normal and understandable.
solid, good, open world video game. And after about 20 hours with the game, I would say it lands very firmly in the good, not great camp. Which, by the way,
Oh wow, calling this game good but not great is extremely high praise.
it feels like something you could say about every single Ubisoft game that's come out in the last decade. But I'm not going to sit here and act like 7 out of 10 is the worst outcome,
I feel a lot of shilling.
because it could have been a lot worse. Star Wars Outlaws is still a fun
Saying 7 out of 10 Star Wars Outlaws in the same sentence just physically makes me ill.
game. It can be very exciting in small bursts. Where it runs into trouble is when you really start putting the hours in and getting towards the end of the content, where it feels like things are just repetitive and you've been doing the same thing over and over again. But by this point, you know what to expect when you see Ubisoft open world. It is a formula that's tried and true that we've been seeing, like I said, for over a decade. Nonetheless, let's dive in and
I would not call Ubisoft's formula tried and true at this point. It gets worse with every iteration.
talk about it. Before we jump in, thanks to Ubisoft for sending a code so I could review this game and share it with you guys.
And there we go! And there we go! Ah, that's why it's a 7 out of 10 not masterpiece, eh? Oh my!
I think by far the most interesting talking point around Star Wars Outlaws is
Ubisoft, by the way, it's still not too late for me to call this game a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. You just need to pay me, not send me a code, okay?
its approach to open world game design. Because to me, it feels like they've taken their open world formula and sort of constricted it a little bit, reined it in, where in previous games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it felt a little unruly. The maps felt way too big and bloated, and there was a lot of unnecessary, smaller side content that didn't really add much to the experience except to pad the runtime of the game. By contrast, Outlaws is not that big. I think it's actually appropriately
It's ridiculously small and nothing to do. This takes 4 minutes to travel from one side to the other, and that's if you're slow nowadays. Turns out, surprise, surprise, the developers lied when they said it takes 4 minutes. It's faster if you don't stop, and there's not a lot of reason to stop.
sized for an open world video game where you're not spending tons of time getting from point A to point B. There is some interesting stuff in between the content that you can encounter. They also made
Oh boy. Dude, literally, this is all you encounter. Some kind of village, trader, whatever is being attacked by badmen. Innovation, they call it.
there's some interesting stuff in
And then you can help one side or shoot both of them, it doesn't matter.
between the content that you can encounter. They also made traveling between point A and point B more interesting in this game, and it didn't quite click with me until I got a couple of
Wow, a GTA jump, that's so exciting.
upgrades for it. But the speeder is really fun. Once I unlock the boost and the
Eddie, okay, this is the litmus test for allowing you to own private property, okay? Do you think this speeder is fun? If you said yes, you do not deserve basic human rights. This is a very simple litmus test. By design, anything that has an acceleration bar because the base speed is too boring and not interesting enough is just bad. Every developer has this magical ability to just make the speeder actually fast to begin with and not require a boost to make it fun. Yeah, I know, crazy stuff right here.
jump, I was having a blast. I turned Tatooine into like this moto
Wow, look at all of this nothing that I am experiencing. Wow.
across,
Oh,
arena
God.
where it's just going off massive jumps and having a good time. You can also glide across water once you've got the upgrade for it on a Kiva, which just unlocked another part of this map and sparked that, intrinsic motivation for me to go and explore. Of course, it helps so much that this is a visually
Wait, did they actually fix the water animation?
explore. Of course,
Oh yeah, it looks like they fixed the water animation. Or what? No, was the water animation the one that was fine? It was the sand animation that was bugged. Some animation didn't make the V shape. Some animation just did this like it's some kind of, I don't know, horizon line or whatever. Jesus.
go and explore. Of course, it helps so much that this is a visually stunning
God, look at that running animation. Also, he didn't finish the sentence, but everyone knows that this game is not visually stunning.
video game. It is gorgeous. I mean,
No,
the
it's not.
vistas, all of the planets are on 24 hours.
Bro, my games from 20 years ago had gorgeous vistas, okay? The easiest way that nowadays I know if someone's being serious about what they are saying or are they being just, paid off to say remotely good things is oh, do the vistas look good? Oh, look at the scenery. Yeah, every game nowadays does this properly. I would honestly say that every game nowadays fails tremendously because, I mean, look at this. Look at this place. I'm gonna remove myself. You see what we have here? A basket of stuff. I'm guessing this is like supposed to be a trade port, but why is a basket of stuff on the landing pad? Why? It makes no sense. What if is this fuel? Is it gonna explode if someone? Every single game nowadays is just overflowing with absolute nonsensical stuff. Tarps, if you're talking about Starfield, random this, random box there. It makes no sense. It's just overflowing with things because, I don't know, game developers don't understand what it means to be human.
Or, day-night cycles. The weather effects are impressive. It's very rainy on Akiva, and you can see that reflect.
Wow, rain. Boys, I'm feeling a 10 out of 10 here. It has rain. Wow.
On Kay's hair, it's sort of matted down when she's there versus somewhere like
Listen, I don't want to look at Kay's hair. And by the way, you know what I called? I called the fact that obviously the real person they modeled this character by is actually gorgeous, and turns out it's true. Yesterday it came out that the person this ugly freak of nature was modeled by is a gorgeous woman, okay? She is really hot. She is lovely, she is hot, she is gorgeous, okay? And they took her beauty and molded it into this troglodyte looking creature. It is just sad, okay? Well, the Bell Haunt isn't this bad.
Jimmy, where it's really cold and the snowflakes are kind of in her hair. Even the interiors were impressive. Sometimes when a game like this is pretty on the outside, you go inside and it's very dull. Not the case with this
That's a lie.
game. I mean, you go inside, the cantinas, the environmental
Yeah, and it's a bunch of shit.
design is just, it's dense. There's a lot
Density is not always good.
of detail if you slow down and look at it. The Imperial bases are immaculate.
The Imperial bases make no sense. Like, what is this Imperial base? Why is there wiring going from this to wherever the hell it's going? How does this make sense? The Imperium is a bunch of complete morons if this is their design. Like, why? What the hell is this? This is not even a storage facility. Well, this is so stupid.
And reflective, just like you would expect. Some of my favorite moments in this game were actually just walking through and soaking in vibes, and that's not what I usually do in video games, but I couldn't help but do it in this one. I mean, look at this clip of Kay walking through Mos Eisley.
Is this supposed to be impressive? This is basic. Again, games from 20 years ago did this. Games from 15 years ago did this. Having a place that fits a thematic and having a bunch of lowly deformed peasant, it seems like, and, a bunch of sand isn't gonna sell me the game. This is sad.
I can't get used
Yeah, and again, just random stuff thrown everywhere. Why? Don't know.
How bright this planet is.
This game just passes a certain vibe check where it's fun to exist in the world. It's fun to hop on your speeder. It's fun to explore. It's fun to walk around in
If you have a low IQ, yes.
cities. It's very strange, but it's there. It's undeniable. But I think what's really at odds with those feelings is the gameplay and kind of everything else that goes along with this game, which is just very, 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 very shallow. The combat and stealth were two big sticking points for me where I felt like I...
Are you kidding me? You're gonna use a clip like this? Let's watch it again.
The combat and stealth
One
were
enemy.
two big
Two enemies.
sticking points for me.
Three enemies. And hello there. What's your name? What's your size? What's your number?
Where I felt
No, just no.
felt like I saw everything this game had to offer after the first couple of camps. The first couple of encounters, Kay has her blaster.
Wait. That's an enemy? And he just runs up to you, does nothing, and then keeps running up to you and then randomly shoots you?
The first couple of encounters, Kay has her blaster. It has a couple of different modes, but that's your only weapon. I don't really understand their decision for this because there are many different weapons you can pick up off the ground, but they're used as, I would say, like Halo power weapons, where you pick them up, they have one clip, you can only use it until the clip is out. And also, Kay wants to throw these down constantly. Anytime you interact with any object, it unequips.
Yeah, because they spent time developing their cool little blaster gadget. Psst, losers.
Automatically. So the game is almost like wrestling these weapons out of your hands and saying, no, use the blaster. That's the primary weapon. And it just feels at odds with this being an open world game. Like it's very restrictive. This video is sponsored by War Thunder.
Well, you know what they say, not anymore.
I want to be able to make more decisions, more creative options. And
So, none of them have a reaction.
this game, a lot of the time, kind of just swats away
Wow.
your options.
Wow.
It says, no, you're going to do this. Now, unfortunately, I felt the same way about stealth in this game. There are plenty of missions where the game says, hey, you need to not be detected. You cannot trigger an alarm or else you fail and you're booted back to your safe. Usually, I am very down for one or two
That's so
of those
funny.
missions.
Dude, I still can't get over the fact that a woman is beating up people in armor that's supposed to protect them from almost everything except lightsabers, okay?
In a game where it's very high stakes and says, look, if you blow this, you blow this. So I'm on
She didn't even touch him. He fell before she even swung. Oh no.
board, but this keeps happening over and over and over throughout the course of the game. Again, it just feels at odds with the type of game that we've got here. This is an open world game. You should be able to approach situations in multiple...
Bro, I absolutely hate this. This is the worst type of stealth. Like, this guy finds someone, starts yelling, and the person literally 3 feet away from them is like, just got my AirPods in my ears.
type of game
Look
that
at
we've
this.
got here.
And by the way, you just approach them and they don't give a shit.
This is an open world
You know what happens when someone's pointing at you and you try to go for a wide angle swing? Well, you know, you go to hell because that's where you belong.
game. You should be able to approach situations in multiple different ways, not force down one single funnel. And when the game does force you to do stealth, there's just
Hey, it's not woke unless they think they know everything that's better for you, okay?
not enough going on with stealth. You can use Nyx to distract enemies and move past them. You've got sort of a stun move with your blaster that will knock enemies out from range. This game just doesn't give you enough tools to facilitate interesting stealth, but it forces you into stealth a lot of the time. In my opinion, just too much. And hey, that'll not be a problem for some people. Some people will say, I play Far Cry,
At least that's believable.
just too much. And hey, that'll not be a problem for some people. Some
Oh no, wait, no, that's even dumber. She's actually I thought she's gonna use the bottom of your blaster. Well, admittedly, that's gonna cave in the skull and give this person the aneurysm and effectively kill them almost instantly. But hey, at least that would be a takedown. Also, you're giving them a concussion.
People will
And yet she always catches them
say, I play
by the
Far
head
Cry
almost.
or I play Assassin's
It's so strange.
Creed only in stealth the entire time, and that's fair. That's fine. That is, you know, an option. But for this game, it's like the only option for a lot of them, and it just didn't work for me. Another thing I praised in my preview for this game, but just didn't pan out for me, was the syndicate and the reputation.
Nothing panned out in this game, okay?
System. I really wanted to like this. I thought this would be a front and center mechanic for the main story of the game, and that just goes to show.
Oh god, if anyone did not think the syndicate mechanic is going to be anything else but absolute atrocities against humanity, it's sad. You're not going to get fought. You're definitely going places, but not college.
So when you go and play 4 hours of a game, I mean, that is really first impressions. You are not able to gauge how that's going to affect the rest of the game. That's something I try to explain when I do my preview videos, but it really rang true.
By the way, the story of this game is just absolute tragedy and ass, okay? This is what no one's talking about, because you need to see the gameplay to actually experience it. You are Kate Vess, an extremely notorious the women of the underground. You are knowledgeable about what's happening, how everything works, and yet in this game you can't even lie properly, okay? You're like, hey, I'm the guy who needs to pick up the stuff, and he's and then the other pot calls you out, and you're like, oh yeah, you know what, never mind, and you go away. It is the dumbest stuff ever. These dialogues are as bad as you would expect. This is complete trash tier dumpster fire, okay? Arguably, Starfield has better dialogue options than this fucking game.
Through here because the syndicate missions almost feel like a separate mechanic in this game entirely.
She acts clueless. Like, here at the start that he just demonstrates this. She's like, hey, you were right. They didn't let me go in. Yeah. How do you not know this? You have interacted with these people. How do you not know this?
Game entirely. There are 4 different criminal syndicates that you can side with or go against in the game. You've got the Hutts, Ashiga, Pike, and Crimson Dawn. But the catch is you're only making interesting decisions during side missions for the most part. There are a handful of main missions where you get to choose a side between the syndicates, but then that is like barely reflected in the main story whatsoever. So again, it just feels kind of silent.
She shoots the guy and says, "Can't trust it." Yeah, it's the underground. No shit, dipshit.
Load off to the side, sort of a thing you can do if you want to. And I guess after the preview, I just expected a lot more from this system. I thought this was going to be front and center and woven into the story. This is not a game where your choices actually matter, is what I will say. It turned out to be, unfortunately, a surface level thing where, look, if you are a Star Wars fan and just interacting with these crime syndicates, that might be enough for you. But for me, I was
if someone's a Star Wars fan and they interact with anything of this and they're like, and they go, wow, this is cool, they should be beheaded.
Expecting this to have more impact on the
Are we advocating for violence? About damn time, boys, okay?
Story. The main thing that it does impact is the gameplay. And like I said before, the gameplay just isn't interesting enough for me to want to side with a syndicate. If you choose the Pikes, for example, and level their reputation all the way up to, you know, great, perfect, they love you, they will
They don't give you anything useful.
Give you some exclusive pieces of gear that you can't find in the game otherwise. That's fine, that's great, but if I don't find the gameplay all that engaging, I don't really care about getting a jacket that, you know, increases my power blaster capacity by 2 shots. I also expected the
A jacket.
access that you get to certain areas on the map or in cities to matter more based on your criminal syndicate standing, and it really doesn't. I think I experienced that in a couple of missions, but by and large,
nothing matters in this game. This is why it's so bad. I wonder if he talks about the story. Oh god, this is what we talked about yesterday. This dude, run, Kay, run. He's gonna chop you up and put you in the freezer in the basement.
I've seen clips on social media that sort of feel like they're cherry picking the worst things, but it's undeniable.
They are not cherry picking anything. I've watched people play this game, okay? I'm obviously not gonna play it myself. Dude, this thing is so bad it's not even worth pirating, okay? I'm just gonna say that much. This is so bad and miserable, it's not even worth pirating.
Some of these things look bad, and for Ubisoft it's just weird. It's a problem of
Everything looks bad. At the start here I was gonna start yapping about how bad the mobs are, because I know how this creature feature looks, but this is barely human, okay? How disgustingly ugly they made this. Oh god,
I'm not sure why they didn't put more attention on that. As I
God, what a beautiful sight.
put more attention.
What an absolutely beautiful sight. You know what? This is gonna be my thumbnail. There we go. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be perfect. And if you don't agree with that, you're a bigot. Anyway, this was Quizzer77. That was JV, and have a nice day. Bye.